Good morning, Sacramento. This is Craig Ashton. The show is All Things Legal. This is where personal injury attorneys distill topical events into the legal essence. I got Tim Hodson, who's one game up on the rest of the fast pitch baseball league that he's in.
That's correct. We beat the second-place team on Sunday in the sweltering heat in Elk Grove, but it was a good game.
So your batting average is like 450?
No. I've been in a horrible slump this year, and I hopefully, knock on wood, broke out of it last week. So
Can you bet your weight at least?
Right now, yeah. Actually, since I've lost so much weight, I am definitely at least hitting my weight. So that's a good thing.
Because you're emaciated. You're about 120 right now.
I'm not that. Yeah, I know. I'm not that light, but thank you. I appreciate it.
And Sacramento, by the way, I'm here against my will.
And we got, that's Edward
I
Shady.
might be as well.
That's Edward Shady. We've got a Shady lawyer in the house. Just got back from driving all the way from Oklahoma through Colorado, through Kansas, got lost in Wyoming.
Or
Met a
Colorado.
FedEx driver who couldn't give you any direction, and your son had the good sense to engage with Siri.
Correct.
And you finally made it back 5
they're
days
dating.
later. Somebody had to eat.
The Donner Party. We stopped at Donner Pass and it snowed. It was horrible.
You really got lost? That's very rare for you.
I know.
I'm surprised.
I can land in Majorca and drive without a map and find a villa in the middle of nowhere off a dirt road. But I got
Exactly.
because the 80 was closed down and we got rerouted, and it's put us on a dirt road for about 8 miles. And then I go, the heck with this, and I start coming around and go. After I circled around, I go, this is the same dirt road that they're going to put me back on.
I'm very surprised by that, Ed.
So Ed gets to Mallorca, right? So we get this really cool Airbnb. And the Airbnb lady says that you need to meet us on the off-ramp. Because when you get to the Airbnb, it's take a left at the goat, take a right at the olive tree.
The old olive tree.
Yeah.
Not the new one.
And then,
Because there's like 500 of them.
take another left at the fountain that represents Caligula. And we finally make it. Ed shows up at midnight. There's no lights. Ed doesn't need any sort of GPS, but he loses all of his travel documents, which made his wife a little bit irritated. But he made it
home.
You made it without any direction. But then you end up lost in Wyoming.
I know. It's a non sequitur. It just doesn't make no sense.
Yeah, it's definitely a non sequitur. All right. So if you've never listened to the show before, this is what we do. We distill topical events to the legal essence. Today,
I'm actually going to start a TV show called Lost in Wyoming.
Bear Grylls can host it.
Yes.
and your Lederhosen outfit is awesome, bro.
Oh, Wyoming is gorgeous, man. I was looking for the Ricola guy on the side of the road to blow his horn to guide me out.
All right, so a Sacramento brewery is going to deliver beer to your door. This is track 7. So we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about the legal issues pertaining to delivery of beer. We'll talk about a man who had a testicular removal surgery, and they removed the wrong testicle. The ball is in your court.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about a Colorado dad who wants to ban smartphones for kids under 13 and the police power under the 10th Amendment.
This guy's a genius, by the way.
We'll talk about this guy who's really, really creative. He showed up to work in his shorts. They said, you got to go home. You're not meeting our dress code. He came back in a dress.
Another genius.
That is pretty smart.
No,
It worked. He accomplished his goal, actually. They changed the policy. So
he went home to his mommy's house and came back in his mommy's dress. I wonder how he knew it was going to fit, because he walks around the house with it on the weekends.
Maybe.
Englishman.
I'm not saying he looks good, but he looks good.
He wears a dress much better than I would have worn a dress, that's for sure.
I'm sorry. I'm not going to say he looks good, but he looks good.
Yeah, cocktail dress Friday.
Yes.
All right, and then we'll talk about the Calaveras Board of Supervisors. Looks like they're going in the right direction because under Prop 64, recreational use of marijuana is legal, right? So you can grow it no matter where. But it can be curtailed based upon the municipalities. So you can go county, city, etc. And Calaveras is kind of struggling with this. Calaveras is going to be the Napa of California. There's only 42,000 people who live in Calaveras. And if they get this marijuana stuff right, they're going to be the Qatar, the Saudi Arabia of California, because they're going to be per capita the richest people on the planet. And so what they're doing right now is they're saying, I think what they're saying is that we haven't banned it yet, but we will curtail the experience by acreage. So if you have 50 acres or more, then you can, and it's agricultural, then you can grow marijuana, you can do it commercially, and then, guess what? They can tax it.
A lot.
They're going to take in like 10, 15, $20 million in taxes.
Yep.
And you know what? They're going to have the best high schools in the country.
The kids will all be stoned.
No, get out of here. There we go with those arguments.
So the point is that direction that they're taking right now, I think that they're being smart about this.
My high school, we're the home of the Indians. It'll be the home of the stoners.
Hey.
All right, Ed, you're banned from the show. All right, let's talk about this. Sacramento Craft Brewery is now going to deliver beer to your house. This is Track 7. So, Ed, you're familiar with Track 7. You're American River Brewing Company, right?
Correct.
So tell us about delivering beer to my house.
We're not going to do it. It's a bad idea.
It's expensive.
It's horribly expensive. What they're doing is it's because they have special releases that are only available in the tap room on Saturdays. So they're going to allow, and they're 4-packs. You can get 3 4-packs. One of their Golden Guava, their 3 Chord Song, and Amarillo Adoration IPA. Here's the kick, though. And, you know, if you can do it, awesome. Hats off to them. It's $42 to $48 for a 12-pack, plus a $15 delivery fee. For now, you're looking at, if you're going to have a 12-pack of beer dropped off, it's going to be $57 to $63 plus tax. I could go to the ball game, buy my ticket, watch the game live, and spend the same amount of money on beer.
Exactly.
That's an expensive 12-pack.
That better be some Golden Brew.
But here's the thing. I just got my girlfriend, Tanya, who I love, and she's a beautiful, unbelievably sweet, attractive, lovely individual.
Apparently very forgiving.
Yes. She's a saint as well.
A saint.
So she booked me a room at the Montage in Laguna. So when you get an omelet, the omelet's $35. So when you get a Track 7, 18-pack of beer?
12.
For how much?
$57 to $63.
It's a bargain.
Yeah, in Laguna, maybe it's a bargain. I mean, but it's an interesting concept. There's definitely some legalities they're going to have to figure out here before they do it. I mean,
because you have to be somebody over the age of 18. You got to make sure the person ordering online is over 21.
Correct.
Well, let's talk about the legalities. That's the show.
I know. But like when you said the omelet, I was down at Fleming's in Fashion Island, and you go to ribeye, and it's like $35 for an 8-ounce ribeye. And somebody goes, that's awfully expensive. I go, no, the ribeye was cheap. I paid $1 a day for 28 days for them to age it and flip it every day so that I could have a nice, steak. I only paid $7 for the steak. I paid $28 to have it aged.
So I get to the Montage, and this place is so we get there late, and we get an Uber, which Uber's really actually from a technological perspective and legal perspective a great idea. So we get to this beautiful place, and we sit down and have dinner around 9 p.m. And the server says this is a 15-star resort. I'm thinking to myself,
how's that possible?
I didn't book this place, but I'm paying for this place. And my girlfriend's got good taste. So I'm going, this is going to be very expensive. This is a 15-star resort. So they got 2 5-star restaurants and then a 5-star hotel, which if anybody wants to go to a 15-star experience, the Montage, I'm telling you. So basically I'm sitting there going, it's much less expensive if I have somebody deliver me a bottle of wine from a liquor store than room service. So how do you do that? Well, guess what? As long as you're over 21 and you're ordering from somebody who is 21, then they can deliver alcohol to your house, and it's completely legal under the Tide House rules.
Correct.
So we'll talk about the Tide House rules.
Here comes a high tide.
And we'll talk about a man who lost his testicle during his surgery. And we'll do that after the break with Edward Shady, Tim Hodson. I'm Craig Ashton. Stay with us. All right, we're back. This is Craig Ashton. I got Edward Shady Is this time you want a shady lawyer give me some legal direction? Edward, good morning.
How are you? I'm still here
Hodson.
against my will.
Tim Hodson. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
All right. So let's talk about this tied house rule, right? So here's the thing. In California, we got this arcane kind of legal situation whereby if you're a merchant or a retailer or you're a brewer, separate rules apply to all of you, but you can't overlap. But now you can get alcohol delivered to your house, which is really interesting and quite nice.
I know. For you business folks out there, we're talking about you cannot have vertical integration in the alcohol industry. Can't produce it, sell it, and distribute it all under the same entity. You got to break it all up. It's kind of weird.
It is. It's funky how
But
they do it.
Ed, but you brew your own beer, right?
Yeah, but I don't sell my own beer.
But you give it to your neighbors.
No.
So you're in violation of the Tied House Act right now.
There's a lot more
Here they
acts.
come.
There's more than one act I've violated. I'm not going to be
come
limited
the
by
feds.
the Tide House Act.
Here come the feds.
And it's not the feds, man. It's a state offense. It'd be under the ABC.
That's the ABC, that's right.
Oh, my God, they're at the door.
So they didn't anticipate
Edward Shady and there.
DoorDash. So DoorDash, if you go to DoorDash, you can have alcohol delivered to your house.
Yep. Straight off an app.
So the point is that the rules in California, as they apply right now, you just have to be over 21.
What do I want to pay DoorDash when my wife goes shopping and brings it home to me?
You're a lucky man, Ed.
You know, when you get home, you put on your lederhosen, you put on your cap with your little feather in the top, and you walk around and you smoke your cigar, and your wife brings you.
Scotch.
Yeah, you know, there's actually a saying out there. It's good to be Ed.
Yes, it is. Good to be Ed.
So the point is in California, the law is that you can have the alcohol delivered to your house if you're over 21. And they're trying to limit this a little bit, where they're going to come up with a regulatory system which makes sure that they are able to identify your age.
Correct.
Which seems fair.
It seems, I mean, it's a basic concept as if you're in a bar, you have to trust that the individual selling the alcohol is making the right judgment, and that the ID they're looking at is a proper ID, it's not fake, and that the person is actually 21. As long as you meet those thresholds, it looks like its delivery system is just the same as if you're ordering from a bar.
Why doesn't just common sense prevail? Why does the state have to micromanage everything because we're just not smart enough to do it ourselves?
Because they're aware of you, Ed.
I know.
Yes, it's exactly
I'm a capitalist,
why.
man.
But, I mean, ABC has to have some control in it. I mean, just for lawyer purposes alone. I mean, what if these people deliver it to a house full of 18-year-old kids having a high school party?
Like the ABC is going to be there, wouldn't
No.
the local police show up at the sheriff's office? Or a constable, which we never hear about anymore. The constabulary.
Thank goodness we don't hear about the constable anymore.
Or the marshal.
So Senate Bill 254 is going to come up with a regulatory system which says that if you're going to deliver alcohol, you've got to make sure that you have already applied for a license for that. And then everybody's got to make sure. Tim, you're yawning.
Sorry, man, it's not on purpose.
Yeah, this is,
You're not boring me.
This thing wants to make sure that the delivery
Perhaps
drivers,
you need some more oxygen.
consumers, everybody's over 21 that's involved in the chain of distribution is what they're looking for on this.
Which makes sense.
I think is overkill, personally.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Why can't a 19-year-old drop it off for an 18-year-old? They're not
When
drinking
they
or
drop off a
something.
pizza, are they getting my lactose intolerant card? I don't think so.
No, that's a good point, but how can you guarantee the 18 or 19-year-old isn't going to drink it on his way over there?
Well, he's not going to get a tip if he shows up with a half-empty bottle.
You got to think, come on, liability.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The 18-year-old's old enough to vote, old enough to serve, old enough to go get himself killed in the armed forces, but he can't.
That's a different debate. That's
he
a different
can't deliver
debate.
a beer.
No, that's a different debate. I agree.
No, we're not. The debate
no.
is 21. We want to not have anybody drinking alcohol under 21.
Because that's the legal age to drink.
Correct. And when did that go in? It went in because under Jimmy Carter and the
Correct.
federal government, they said, hey, we're going to drop the freeway limits down to 55. We want to save energy, et cetera. And if you don't do it, we're going to withhold the highway funds. And we want you to do X, Y, Z, or we're going to withhold highway funds if you don't bring your legal limit up to 21. Because I remember in high school, everybody's going to Hawaii for summers because when I was in high school,
Mexico.
you could drink Hawaii.
Mexico's that way
It
now,
was 18.
Aloha means hello.
Aloha means hello and goodbye.
No, I mean, I'm not arguing with you. I think the legal limit should be 18 to drink. If you can carry a gun and die for this country in the military, you should be able to drink a beer.
Vote.
Sorry. And vote. I mean, so I'm not arguing with you on that, but the law is 21 right now.
I know, but to me it makes more sense that if you actually bifurcated the law, because they do with licenses, you can walk into a restaurant, it's strictly wine and beer, but then you have to have a hard liquor license.
Correct.
So they might as well just say with regard to wine and beer, 18 and up, anything that's over, 40 proof, you got to be 21 and up. And that way somebody,
Well,
you could regulate it that way.
in a restaurant, you can serve it if you're 18.
Correct.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
why not be able to drink if you're 18 if it's wine and beer?
That's a different debate. That's a completely different debate. But the law is 21, so it makes sense that to deliver it and to drive it to somebody's house, you should have to be 21 as well.
I mean, you were in high school. We were all in high school at some point in time. It was the...
I was born in South Africa, so we didn't have a high school there.
You were in college, right?
I don't believe that.
Kids are going, oh, my God, it's the forbidden fruit. I want to get to it. If it's not forbidden, the majesty of it all disappears.
I agree with you.
Common.
Did you say the
100% on
majesty?
Yeah.
I agree with you
the way the
100%
kids
on
look
that.
at it.
No.
Oh, that kid's bringing, some alcohol to the party. Well, if everybody else could, it's like, who cares?
Bring something new.
No, I agree with you on that.
Perhaps like a magic trick.
A magic trick.
No, we can have a whole discussion on that as well. I mean, but you and I completely agree on the introduction of alcohol and stuff like that. I mean, as long as it's not the hidden,
The genie in the bottle.
corner. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it's like, okay.
yeah, I mean, it's people drink. It's not a mystery in this world. I mean,
People have been drinking since the beginning of time.
right.
Because
Human beings have tried to find a way
because
to
water was dirty, and the only way you could actually pacify so you didn't have a dangerous antigen
Did
was
you
to
read
introduce
the
alcohol.
book that said beer saved the world? So on the Mayflower,
Yep.
they came over with beer because they didn't understand bacteria back then. So they just knew that if they drank beer, first of all, it refreshed them. Second of all, they didn't get sick. And then when we ran out of beer, guess what?
They had to land. Get some more.
Mutiny. They had to come
There was
over.
a 7-Eleven up there at Plymouth.
They had to take over North America. So, but the point is that back in the Middle Ages, right, when you went to the Abbey on Sunday, you would get a tankard of ale.
Yep.
And because if you drank from the stream that your
You were gonna
neighbor
get sick.
just basically urinated in,
Or anything else.
Or
Yeah.
or an animal
So-
died in.
so you
trichinosis
would
or
get
something
sick.
coming down.
so legally speaking, they would have a great case for assault and battery, perhaps negligent infliction of emotional stress or distress. But the idea is that you're right. Beer changed the world.
Well, beer is just liquid bread. It has all the exact same ingredients. Bread will go bad over time. Everybody's seen it when they were in college. You had some moldy bread in there. Your roommates that you threw away. But beer, it may go, the flavor may go bad, et cetera,
It's
on
skunky,
it.
yeah.
But there are no known dangerous antigens that actually grow in it. Same as wine. So that's why you could actually transport it over great distances and still be able to, stay hydrated to some degree.
That's why it's been around for so long.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the Phoenicians and Mesopotamians, they were brewing beer so they could transport it over long distances, all the grains.
All right,
That's
let's
your history lesson, Sacramento.
There you go.
let's transfer from a very sacrosanct, interesting, historical lesson to
Frightening.
a man who had the wrong testicle removed during surgery. So this is an all-male show. So, and even G in there, I can see him wincing a little bit.
Yeah, he just pinched his legs together like he had to pee.
So, in California, we have the Medical Insurance Comprehensive Reform Act.
Micra.
So you're limited to $250,000 if a doctor removes your wrong testicle in California. Period.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what
For
that's
pain and
worth.
suffering.
How do you distill, in terms of a monetary finish line, the removal of your testicle?
I think age has a lot to do with it.
I would say, dude,
Yeah, the guy was only 54. I'm sure he wanted to keep it around.
But he did. Because we were kind of shocked as to why it was only 870,000, but I think it's because he was 54. If he's 24, I think it's much higher.
I do like the quote from the doctor.
so
During the surgery.
I got the wrong one.
At this point, it appeared that the
Yeah.
left testicle and the cord
So,
may actually have been removed instead of
good
the right
news,
one.
good news, bad news situation. The good news is you lost 3 grams. The bad news is I removed your wrong testicle. So $620,000 compensatory damages, and then $250 for punitive, which is weird because that punitive means reckless, means intentional.
Right.
So if he intentionally removed my testicle, I want more than $250.
Well, in this instance, they found that he was recklessly indifferent because of his comment when he was actually performing the surgery. Now, and then the guy was hesitant to go back and decided not to go back for further surgery. I wonder why.
Shocking.
He did not want to be. He was already made. He went from a baritone to a tenor. He didn't want to become a.
So, Doc, the ball's in your court.
We're going to make a castrati singer.
That would not be a fun conversation. But like, I mean, if he's 24, he still has the ability to have children, still has the ability to raise a family, and losing a testicle would obviously raise the legal value of that case.
I don't know about you. 54, you're still allowed to have children.
True, but the odds of you having children are much less at 54 than that.
So this is the equivalent.
Come on, law school. You remember the fertile octogenarian?
My in-laws are living proof of it, but I mean, it's the odds of it happening are much less than at 24.
So this is the quote from the doctor in the medical record. At this point, it appeared that the left testicle and cord may actually have been removed instead of the right one. So the right one is a double entendre.
Very true. Very true.
I removed the wrong one instead of the right one, and it was the left one that left him suing me.
Yes, because he should have left it behind.
Good Lord. Is it time for a break yet?
But seriously, can you imagine? I mean, you come out of general anesthesia.
Come
so
on,
Doc,
Tim. This is Testicle Thursdays.
So, Doc, how did it go? Well, I just have to tell you, I removed your wrong testicle.
There's no turning back from that.
Wait, doctor, please, maybe I'm just a little bit cloudy from the anesthesia, but repeat that.
Yeah.
I removed your wrong testicle.
And dear patient, why are you talking to me in a high voice?
Yeah.
So in California, all you would get is $250,000 for that experience.
So the pain and suffering.
For the pain and suffering.
The medical bills you get.
I mean, can you imagine?
Yeah, you were out for...
Think of it this way. All right, so a client comes to us in California, and we file a complaint in Arkansas. And then we tell the client, sorry, we filed a complaint in Arkansas. And you've got a $20 million case, but the most exposure you have to us is $250,000 because we filed a complaint in Arkansas. That's how bad this is.
Doesn't make a lot of
This
sense.
guy removed the wrong freaking testicle.
I
And in California, his full exposure to liability after removing my reproductive. I mean, I am the direct descendant of George Washington, right?
You are?
Seriously. I mean,
Seriously?
he's my uncle. So you take my testicle off,
He's my president, man.
and all I would get in California is $250,000. That is wrong. But that's what happened, and we'll come back. And we'll talk about a man sent home wearing his shorts, coming back,
testicles.
wearing a dress. And we'll do that after the break. This is Craig Ashton, Ed Shady, Tim Hodson. Stay with us.
Hey.
All right, we're back. Tim Hodson, one game ahead of the rest of the pack.
That's right.
Beating a Mario law firm, hands down.
Hands down. So far.
But you say you're in a slump. Is it going to come back?
I hope so. I think I found it, but we'll see. You never know. I don't want to.
You got to get your mojo.
I don't want to tempt the baseball gods, so we'll just leave it at that.
Well, you just got to get that bat of yours bedazzled again.
Yeah. That might be the problem.
The rhinestone iron.
Rhinestone cowboy. Ed Shady got lost in Wyoming recently, and your wife was in the backseat sleeping, probably, right?
Yeah, she was relaxed. She was, listening to music and enjoying the drive.
And you had the pronghorn antelope. Were the
deer and the buffalo roam, but they weren't there. They were all over the place. I mean, southern Wyoming outside of Laramie is gorgeous.
Instead of actually asking Siri, you asked a FedEx driver, and you basically said, "You're pretty much pooched." I mean, and then you went to
the FedEx driver seriously did not know how to get you around anywhere.
Correct, which was odd.
How's that possible? Ed, only you, Ed Shady, could find a FedEx driver that doesn't know where he's going.
Yeah, which was odd. She goes, I don't know anything around here. I just made this delivery. I said, okay.
Hey, she was honest. At least she didn't send you on a wild goose chase.
Because there's nothing out there.
All right.
So I'm all, hey, what's the easiest way to get back to the 80 on the west side of Laramie? And she's like, I don't know. Jesus.
Did she ask you if you were from Orange County?
No.
No? All right.
All right. So, if you're wondering what the show is about, this really is about legal issues, right? So we got this guy. This is in England, but this can apply to California. So this guy's pretty creative. He shows up to work in his shorts. They send him home, and he comes back in a dress. And it's actually doesn't look too bad on him.
He wears it pretty well, actually.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, apparently he took his mom's dress. So the issue is, can you send somebody home for wearing shorts? And the answer is, in California, yes. Yeah. Totally. But once he puts a dress on, then you've got gender issues.
Yep.
So now are you discriminating against him versus your female employees who can wear a dress when you send him home for wearing a dress? And I don't know the answer to that question, but I would say that would probably be a gender discrimination issue. And sending a male employee home for wearing a dress might be a gender discrimination issue.
I don't think I'd have a problem sending somebody home with a coat like that. You're talking about discrimination versus a standard. Now, if he wore a dress to work every day, that would be the standard wear for that individual, and it would be, and you would have hired him because that's the way they showed up. But if they wear not on Halloween or any other day, all of a sudden they show up in a dress, you're going, okay, this is more of a costume. We're not allowing you to wear a costume. This isn't your standard wear or attire. Now, women, on the other hand, if they wear dresses every day, skirts, pantsuits, etc., that's standard. That's totally acceptable. And more likely than not, because he was working at a call center in England, and the only reason he did this because it was really hot that day.
Right.
Yeah, not like here where it's over 110.
It was 86.
It was 86 degrees.
But, Ed, you look great in your dress today.
I know.
I got to say that.
I look great in everything.
Sundresses really suits you.
But the if it's a one-off, then it's a costume, and then I think he could be sent home because. And number two,
costume.
when you
I like it, a costume.
yeah, and number two, when you typically
so that separates it out to gender. What you're saying is that he's making a statement that day,
correct,
which is not gender specific.
Correct.
It's a costume.
He came in
which
costume.
is like he came in wearing a clown outfit.
Yeah, no different.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, and besides that, when you
What
sign
if
up,
he shows up in a beautiful skirt and matching purse on Tuesday?
I'd have him escorted out of the building immediately. But in any event, when you sign up at one of these companies, typically a large company, they're going to have a dress code and it's going to be.
Are you saying dress code or dress code?
No.
Overall dress code.
An overall dress code. I mean, they talk about midriffs. They talk about everything, what is acceptable, not acceptable, open toe,
you
closed
need to pay
toe.
attention, man.
It's crazy.
You can go on Amazon and get this right now.
What?
This dress.
Why? In what? Wear the same one you have on? No.
But he accomplished his goal. I mean,
yeah, he did.
He was trying to make a point that it's hot, and when it's hot, the girls can come in with the dresses. You know, I would like to be able to wear something a little, less clothing when it's this hot because it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, because it was the dress code said men couldn't wear shorts, but after this stunt, and hats off to Joey, that's his name. The company sent out a email said, due to the extremely warm temperature, we're going to allow men to wear three-quarter length shorts.
Which are capri pants, basically.
I don't know what a three-quarter length short. What does that come down to your calf?
I guess. I mean, I have a few basketball shorts.
Or a three-quarter length dress.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to show up in my knickers.
Or your lederhosen, which would be very nice, Ed, because you're German, right?
There you go.
No, but Ed, you make a great point. I mean, if it was a pattern of behavior,
which is rare.
If it was a pattern of behavior, that's clearly a choice he's made, and that's the life he lives. This was a stunt. He was trying to make a point.
Okay.
So it's something he could be sent home for.
Now, for our profession, let's assume every time we went to court, we just donned judge's robes when we walked in to argue our case. Do you think the court would put up with that?
Well, perfect example. My criminal
I don't know, Ed. You need to test that.
Yeah.
My criminal law professor and attorney I used to work for, Linda Parisi, literally comes to work every day and goes to court in pink spandex. I'm not lying to you.
Spandex.
But she is the
So
most,
we would have to ban that in our law firm.
Well, yeah, but she's the most respected criminal, one of the most respected criminal defense attorneys in Sacramento County. Every judge knows her, and they know she's not doing it as a stunt, and she's not a clown. This is the way she dresses, and she gets away with it.
Because it's her standard.
It's her standard, exactly.
Not a costume.
I mean, if I show up to court tomorrow in pink spandex, the judge is going to throw me out of the
she goes to court
courtroom.
doing down dog? I mean, what's going on here?
No, trust me, if you ever get in trouble, she's the first person I'm calling. I mean, she is nails as a defense attorney. But she has established that as her dress code, as the way she shows up to court, and because of her
Pink
reputation.
spandex?
I'm not lying to you. It's
Dude,
pink
I wear
spandex.
bow ties every day, but pink spandex, I'm drawing the line.
Hey, if you watch Channel 3 or Channel 13, when there's a major criminal case in Sacramento, when you see the attorney standing next to the criminal, it's her. And you may not know that's actually an attorney standing next to the person, but it's her.
So what is her conviction rate? I mean,
She's a defense attorney.
Like most of the people go
what's
to
her conviction
No,
rate?
like she's in the major crimes, like some major rapes.
So they all go
murders.
to jail because she's wearing pink
because
spandex.
most of them are, there's a lot
Dude,
of facts.
I gotta
against
tell you
them.
right now. I'm going to tell you right now. As a lawyer, I feel that it is a absolute privilege to dress appropriately. And pink spandex to court, I'm going to say, in my opinion, that is wrong. Because you want to be comfortable. I'm not comfortable right now. I'm wearing a bow tie.
Yeah, you are comfortable, man. You love wearing this stuff.
I'm wearing a bow tie, and I'm wearing a seersucker black and white striped blazer. But pink yoga pants to court, I'm going to say, you know what? Guess what? You're a good lawyer, but get it together. Because
She's got it together. That's the point.
She doesn't have it that much together.
Because
a lot of her clients get the death penalty, right?
Well, she's not wearing that to trial.
Our clients don't get the death penalty.
She's not wearing that to trial.
So the point is that guess what? You're a good lawyer, but don't wear pink yoga pants to court. I don't care how good you are.
But she can.
No, Tim's saying
No.
that.
I'm saying you can't and you should.
But she can and she does, man. And
You shouldn't.
She does.
She's not doing it in front of the jury. She's not doing this in front of the public. This
isn't a jury trial I'm talking about.
She's talking
I'm just
about
saying
prelims and arraignments.
That's disrespecting.
But it's not,
if
man,
a client,
it's not.
I met with somebody yesterday who had her stomach pushed into her heart, and if I showed up in pink yoga pants when I met with her, that would be disrespectful. Period.
That's the way you think about it, though. That person may got a kick out of it if you showed up.
That's the way that I say life should be, and my practice should be run.
Right, but that's right. It's your practice.
Pink
You're completely
yoga
right.
pants, not going to happen.
Right, and that's your practice. If I showed up that way, you would have every right to get rid of me if I did that. But that's your practice. That's the way you see it.
But the bottom line, she gets people that are sent over to her from the district attorney's office, from the public defender's office,
correct.
where they can't afford a lawyer. So she disrespects
she's also
them by
private.
wearing
She's
pink
private
yoga
as well.
pants.
She's private
Pink
as well.
yoga pants, I'm not down with.
That's your opinion, though.
That disrespects my profession.
That's the way you look at it, though.
That's the way I look at it, and I'm right.
That's the Craig Ashton attitude, which is great.
It's true. It's right. You can't wear pink yoga pants
but
to represent a client.
why not?
Because guess what?
Well, no.
The judge allows it?
Would Donald Trump put up with pink yoga pants as his lawyer? No.
I could care less.
Because
what
guess
Donald
what?
Trump thinks.
When you can afford good representation, they don't show up in pink yoga pants.
Well, no, to break this tie, if I may. With regard to any profession, especially a profession that's required to be licensed, and you have a fiduciary duty to the public,
And I like your yoga pants, but
and
they're
the
not
court and your client, it shows a
disregard for your respect for their outcome.
well, no, not just for the outcome, but for
How about a pink codpiece?
No. I mean, when you walk into a doctor's office, you're expecting that doctor to be professionally dressed.
Yeah, if they were
because
pink yoga
you're
pants,
expecting that this is a professional, the profession itself.
I don't have a problem with pink. I'm just talking about the yoga pants.
The integrity of the profession, et cetera. If somebody showed up and they were disheveled, hair's a mess, my coattails are untucked.
Agree with you 100%.
Yeah, and it just takes away from everybody else in the profession. So you want to have kind of a standard because the public looks up to doctors, to attorneys, judges, etc., even politicians to some degree. I don't know.
I just want everybody to go on record here,
and they want to be able to have some confidence in the profession. So you have to dress with confidence.
No argument with there
So
whatsoever.
Ed, you're against pink yoga pants. Tim, you're in favor.
Of course. No, I mean,
Well, I'm from Orange County. I have to be.
I mean, I think we got our wires a little crossed in this conversation. But the point I was trying to make is, once you've established yourself in a position, you've established that pattern of behavior, that pattern of dress, you can get away with it. Where in this situation, the guy showed up one day to work for dress, so he can be sent home for that. It's not a discrimination. That's the point I was trying to make. But it's not like she shows up to court disheveled. She's not untucked. I mean, you know who I'm talking about. You've seen
pink
her.
yoga
You know who I'm
pants?
talking about. Tell you, Craig, it works.
I only had to apologize to the court one time when I showed up because I wasn't attired correctly because I didn't know I had to be. I was going in for something. They said, "Well, that has to be approved by the judge," and this was down in Los Angeles. And I had on
You thought a Speedo was appropriate?
No, I had boots on, cowboy boots on, jeans, and a leather jacket. I mean, it was full on My Cousin Vinny. And it was right after the movie. So I walked in and said, Your Honor, I didn't know I was going to have to be in here for this. I thought it'd be handled at the clerk's desk. Sorry for the attire. She goes, that's perfectly okay. Don't worry about it. She goes, but next time, the typical suit, tie, et cetera. I'm like, you got it.
I went to court without a jacket one time, and I felt so awkward.
Yeah, you felt
I was
naked.
like, I'm sorry, Judge, I don't have a jacket on. He's like, it's okay. I was like, you feel weird, man. You feel weird standing up there without the full dress, yeah.
So the thing is that I think we've actually come to a distilled conclusion, which is
no bow ties and no pink spandex.
All right, so let's transition.
That's as succinctly as I could put it.
From the Versace experience.
Oh, my God.
Vis-a-vis a legal understanding of wearing pink yoga pants.
You ever seen a picture of Donatella Versace?
Yes, I have.
It's scary.
Now, I would not want her to represent me in court in pink yoga pants.
Dude,
I just hired her to haunt a house.
Her and Kellyanne Conway. Sorry.
So let's talk about, because we're going to take a break. It's 1 minute. Either that or I'm number one, right? So Colorado dad wants to ban smartphones for kids under 13. So the idea is that's a First Amendment issue. It's a police power issue because you can ban kids from drinking alcohol for sure. But whether or not it is constitutional to take the liberty away from a 13-year-old when it comes to taking a look at what's on your smartphone. So we're going to do that after the break. Tim, put on your pink yoga pants.
Tomorrow.
Ed, I will see you after the break. I'm Craig Ashton. This is All Things Legal.
God bless them high.
All right, we're back. If you just joined us, this is Craig Ashton. The show is All Things Legal. This is where personal injury attorneys distill topical events into the legal essence.
And
what does that mean?
And dress codes.
What does that mean? That means that we're curious. And we also are a little bit fashion forward because, Tim, you're talking about pink yoga pants.
Who knew? Hey, I surprise you every day, man.
Yeah. I mean, seriously. I said, you know what?
Hey, you did wear a bow tie a couple weeks ago, and I did ask you to bring, some more bread and some water to my desk.
Yes. I did look like a server. I felt like a server. Yeah.
I mean, I feel sometimes like it's like the 90s in the office because you guys still will pleats. And
I do not wear pleats anymore.
They're coming back, by the way.
But you've taken those off. But the fact that you're going this far forward into pink yoga pants, I'm going to say on Friday I will make an exception. I like to wear ascots every once in a while, but pink yoga pants, bring it. All right. So a Colorado dad wants a state ban to smartphones for kids under 13. Discuss.
Well, number one, when you're going to do a ban like this.
I don't know where Ed's going on this.
No, it's got to be. No, the legal aspect of it, when you're talking about First Amendment and rights of others, you have to have an important governmental interest. And then the regulation has to be least intrusive.
It needs to be rationally related to a legitimate state interest.
Correct. And least intrusive way to get there. And this is not it.
But it's not smart.
No, it's not.
Is it a phone?
And why the heck does this guy want the state to invade a parent-child relationship?
There was the Orange County argument. I was waiting for it.
Well, and I do like when they get down to it because they got into a freakonomics argument. There is a correlation between unhealthy behavior and extensive electronic media, or could it be vice versa? People that already have unhealthy behaviors just tend to go to electronic media. I mean, it's freakonomics. Is it cause and effect or correlation?
The freakonomics is when you wear pink yoga pants on Friday.
And I'm actually, Ed, I'm completely with you on this. This is, I mean, there's no reason to have any government involvement in this whatsoever. Be a parent. Watch your own children. Make sure they're not doing dumb things on phones. Don't buy them a smartphone. If you want them to have a phone, buy them a flip phone so they can't.
Is that an oxymoron when it says smartphone?
Well, yes,
For
exactly.
this guy it is.
This guy is. But I mean, I get where
he's an anesthesiologist. Yeah. He's
trying to take his pain away.
No,
taking the pain away.
He's drinking his own Kool-Aid.
I mean, I like his point. I like where his brain is at. Come on, we don't need a bill to force it.
But where does the power come from?
Well, this
police
is
powers,
the police powers. But in any event,
police power from
10th Amendment, all the things that are not
explicitly
written or controlled by the federal government or left to the
Let
states.
me take over because I'm the host of the show.
But
so the 10th
event,
Amendment basically says that through the 14th Amendment, the Constitution applies to the states. But any power or restriction that is not included in the federal Constitution will be left to the states to use in their own discretion. Now,
as long as
that allows for police power, which is for the health, welfare, and safety. So you say, all right, if you're under 21, we believe that from a police power perspective, you should not be able to drink alcohol, especially during a radio show, for sure. And then, ultimately, we're saying that if you're 13 or under, we're exercising our police power to say that it is in your health, safety, and welfare for us to prescribe the restriction on the use of a smartphone. Now, can that be said? Because we can say
what's idiotic
that wearing a
start
bikini
with.
when you're 13 is not in the health, safety, and welfare of the state because you are, at that age, evincing a perspective that may lead to the lascivious reaction of a neighbor. Now, can you say that that police power should be basically extended, and you would say that there is not a rational relation to a legitimate state interest? Now, is there a rational relation to a legitimate state interest in the police power for a smartphone? Discuss.
No. Here's the other issue with this. When you get a phone, you have to be able to access a network on that phone.
I would like you to be as articulate as I am.
I am. Now, you have to be able to access a network or a server or something, and that's all done through a contract. Right. And now, if you're 13, you can't enter into a contract.
Right, it's voidable.
It's absolutely voidable. And who is going to sell a kid a contract at 13? No legitimate carrier will. So, having to have the state come in to now regulate what a parent can do with their child does not serve a legitimate state interest in any way, shape, or form. This guy thinks that because he can't control his own kids, that no other parent can control their own kids, and that he's smarter than the rest of the population in Colorado. It's disgusting.
How do you enforce it?
Disgusting? It's not disgusting.
How do you enforce it?
No, that the state would be involved. It's absolutely disgusting.
And how do you enforce it?
Well, the problem is they wouldn't be able to listen to us live streaming on their phone.
The bill he wants to write is all it is a simple question that they ask you. So Verizon would ask you, "Are you buying this for a 12-year-old?" And if they say no, they sell it to you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like shoulder tapping. Hey, go buy me some. Speaking of under 21 buying alcohol, are you buying this for yourself? Well, yes. And you go outside and hand it to an 18-year-old. I mean, there's no way to enforce it. It's impossible. It's a waste of time.
Well, it sounds to me like this guy's kids run his house because he's afraid to take their phones away from them.
Take their phone away.
Or, cut off their contract. Hey, Verizon, the phone that's got digits ending in 234? I'm not paying for that anymore. Drop his line.
What he's trying to say is kids are having withdrawals from their phones?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on. He seriously must live a pretty good life. If this is the only thing he has to worry about, he's living pretty good out there.
Well, he's the anesthesiologist, man.
Yeah,
and the whole cause and effect argument. I mean, taking that to what we do, and we do a lot of automobile accidents. So it'd be like more accidents occur when it rains, or is it that more accidents cause the rain? It's a freakonomics argument. It's not cause and effect.
Let your head spin on that one for a second.
It's not cause and effect. It's not He's looking for a correlation as opposed to a cause and effect.
And we've agreed on two straight stories.
It's odd.
Something is very strange here.
I don't even know you guys anymore.
I tried to park Tim in today.
So the point is that if you have a 13-year-old, right, and you got a Ferrari in the driveway, it's not legal for the 13-year-old to drive the Ferrari, period. And if the 13-year-old drives a Ferrari to his detriment, then that's on you.
Yep.
So if you've got a 13-year-old that you don't think should have a phone,
take it away from him.
Take it away from the 13-year-old, period. The law should not get involved. That's my opinion.
No argument. We're actually all in agreement.
But if my 13-year-old wants to give me a Ferrari, I'm cool with that.
My 13-year-old didn't give me a Ferrari. Zachary.
That's something for you to shoot for, Christopher, if you're listening. I'll take a Ferrari.
Yeah, go for that.
Or Tyler.
Tyler, too.
I think Tyler might be able to pull
Tyler
that
might be able to boost one. We'll find out. Yeah.
Well, Zach's having a good time. He's out there. My son, Zach, he's out there at Fort Benning, Georgia, going through air assault school. And the heat and humidity and the obstacle courses and everything. It
seems like
that does not sound fun.
Your wife's everyday experience. The heat, humidity, and the obstacle courses, man.
No kidding.
I don't know how you're still married after 21, 22, 23 years.
Happily still married as well.
Absolutely happily married.
You guys have a fantastic relationship, man.
How'd you pull that off, bro?
I got lucky with
yes, you did.
Finding the right woman.
Denise is awesome.
Yeah, she's very tolerant, man.
She is, man. She's another saint.
So quickly, let's talk about the Calaveras Board of Supervisors. So they made the right choice in not banning marijuana. Proposition 64 has essentially said that marijuana for recreational purposes is legal. And the Calaveras Board of Supervisors had to decide whether or not they ban it. There's only 42,000 people in that entire county, which is the size of basically Connecticut, right? So they decided not to ban it so far. They're going to tax it, bring in all this tax money, and perhaps expand any sort of regulation to an acreage over 50 acres, which makes sense. That's how Napa did it. So Calaveras has a chance to be the richest county in the richest, basically, state in the world right now with the way they're approaching marijuana. So basically, kudos to them. Well done, Calaveras. So let's have a clap.
I've actually visited the richest county and city in the world, about 3 years ago.
Which is what?
It was Natchez, Mississippi. It's currently not the richest, but in 1860s.
Currently not the richest.
No, currently. But in 1860s, it was only the one other port on the Mississippi that they could ship cotton out of, and it had the.
I think slavery had something to do with it.
Just a little bit.
It had the most millionaires per capita, and it was the only city and county that voted not to secede from the Union.
Really?
Yeah.
What a shock.
Yeah, they didn't want to lose all that money.
All right. So hopefully you enjoyed the show. We did. Tim Hodson, Edward Shady, Craig Ashton, All Things Legal. Join us tomorrow. Same bat time.
I got Stockholm Syndrome.
Cheers.
You've been listening to the All Things Legal Show with your host, Craig Ashton. For more information or to download the latest podcast, go to ashtonandprice.com or call 916-786-7787. And remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.